And for that homecoming game, we get to entertain the #1 passing offense in the country, #3 total offense in the country, #3 scoring offense in the country. All great challenges that should keep our focus, certainly defensively, as we enter into this week.
What makes Nick Florence so good in a league with so many good quarterbacks? What kind of sets him apart?
I don't know if it sets them apart because quarterbacks are so great in this league, but they throw things on time. They do a nice job with play action to help set that up, which was something that gave us fits this past Saturday. So something we have to address, and they have to address it fast. It's almost like the balls this one's going to be thrown at 38 yards. You need to be looking at 38 yards because I'm going to deliver it right here in this spot on the field, and that's one of the reasons why he's so accurate, why they have such success.
Paul, where are you at as far as your quarterbacks are concerned?
I've got 3.
And, well, okay, let me rephrase. I know that there was going to be an open competition this week to decide who's going to start on Saturday. Has there?
That is correct.
We're not talking anymore about the quarterbacks?
No.
Let me ask this, since there's been so much critiquing of the quarterbacks, how different?
Let's try another position.
No.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I was going to say, but no, seriously, I was going to say, how much different would it be if you guys were rushing for 50 or 60 yards more a game? Yeah, I mean, how much would?
A lot of things would be different if we were rushing for 50 or 60 more yards a game, but the fact is we're not, and we've got to work to improve that as that affects everything else with the offense.
People think of downfield passes as opening up the running game, but the short passing game, which was very effective, particularly against Tulsa, guys seem to be there pretty much to make the stop right away. Now, how much, I guess, what can be done to shore that up a little bit?
Well, be more efficient at it with the blocking and the timing of it. Ball's got to get out of the quarterback's hand fast. Ball's got to get caught. Blocks and leverage need to be maintained and sustained. And we did that a little bit better against Oklahoma State. The more frequency we do that with, the more you get teams spread out east and west, and the more the north-south game opens up, whether it be the run or the pass.
Baylor's offense is unbelievable, but its defense is ranked at or near the bottom. Do you feel like this is an opportunity that, where your offense can get back on track against a team that's struggling on defense going into this week?
Well, we need to get back on track regardless. We got to take care of what Iowa State does and do it more effective than we've done it for the first half of the season. At the same time I say that, 3 of those games we've had 37 points or more. So we've got to do the things we do well, maybe compact the package a little bit and see if we can't be more efficient at our execution.
Does Richardson have to clearly outplay the other guys in practice to earn a chance just because he's never been out there in a game situation before at the start of a game?
Well, I don't know if he has to, be 2 times better than Jared was better than the other guys in practice last week. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I want to see who the best guy is on the field and then also play into it what's happened during games thus far this season.
You talk about how you're going to evaluate practice, but talk about the intangible of you really don't know what any of them will do until they get on game day and under the lights. I mean, how do you try to forecast that or predict how they'll react?
It's in my contract. I'm supposed to do that, so I'll figure out a way to do it. Where I'm just going to go mute, guys. We're just going to go mute.
You talked yesterday about the offense and the identity, and there really isn't one there right now. Do you have, most times you have, okay, these are a couple of run plays we know we can do well, a couple of pass plays. Do you guys have that right now? Do you even have that right now?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely we do. We think we're running the move pass stuff well. The stuff you do well, you can't do at a point of 75% frequency because that gets snuffed out too. But we're doing the move pass well. We've run the option game well as far as perimeter run game goes. There's a couple of interior plays that we think that are very efficient, meaning they're gaining 4 yards or more per play. But the timing of that and how that relates to drive sequence and then getting stopped either 3 and out or just getting 1 first down is where the killing begins.
Where's James White at in this recovery process?
Closer. He ran yesterday. It's the first time he's ran on land since the surgery. Now he's at a point it should start progressing at a rapid pace. So we'll see. He may be back Saturday, may not.
How about Josh Lyons?
I'm counting on him to be back. I think the fact that he was in pads on Saturday and gave it a go then, another 7 days, I think he'll be ready to go.
Being the 100th homecoming, is there any more? Do you feel that there's any more pressure on some of the players to get a win this weekend?
I think there's a sense of pride that goes along with it. I don't think, 99, 100, 101 is any different to them as this October 27th game, 2012 is important to them, an opportunity to get the 5th victory.
Is Baylor the fastest team in the Big 12?
Yes, we believe it's the most explosive offense that we've faced this year, and that's a mouthful after just giving up 615 yards to an awfully good offense.
Is that part of the reason they lose the Heisman Trophy winner and their offense is exactly production-wise what it was last year?
Well, if you remember, when Nick stepped in last year, they had a pretty good day with that same offense and the same scheme with the Heisman Trophy winner out. So they're loaded with players. The receivers at the top of the league, statistically speaking, with one having 168 yards a game. They also got 2 running backs that carry the ball effectively. Nick Florence can run the ball himself, and he leads the league at, I think, about 370 a game throwing it. So combination scheme and personnel, they're a very explosive group.
They just kind of prioritize which aspect you want to take away first: run, short pass, long pass.
Run. I have to. You have to take away the run. We got bludgeoned last year with both. And that's what happens when you try to stop multiple things. You better stop one thing. That involves people to get that done, and then you rally and try to control the others.
Coach,
And with that in mind, that's why you're going to give up some yards. When you're dealing with a field that they make as wide as they make it and as vertical as they make it, you're going to give up yards, and obviously they prove you're going to give up points against them too.
a number of your offensive players have talked about just being a little bit off, a step, a couple inches here, a hand placement there. Is that what you're seeing on film as well in terms of just not quite clicking some of these games?
Yeah, but that's the difference between winning and losing. The team on the lower end of the scoreboard generally always says that. It's getting a block, it's sustaining a block, it's looking the ball all the way in and catching it, it's making this call in this situation instead of that call in that situation. So Monday I'd like to come in and say we were that step short we've been, we capitalized on this particular Saturday.
You mentioned after the game that you didn't want to see any finger pointing going on.
And haven't been fantastic attitude by our football team. Came back to work Sunday, had a great practice, and realized it was day one of Baylor, and quickly moved on together.
Coach, talk about, I guess, the importance of winning these home games. The last couple of Big 12 games obviously didn't go the way you'd like to.
Yeah, with fantastic crowds and great support, and we did feed off that. But we lost to teams that combined have lost one game this year, are 13-1 right now. So that's the challenge that we've had to overcome in those two previous. Looking down the road, pretty good records coming in still to Jack Trice Stadium. So we'll use that crowd support, and believe me, we do, and we feed off it, and would like to have a successful performance here at home.
Have you ever been in a situation or seen a situation that Coach Browse has faced in terms of losing the kind of player of an RG3 that was really a face of the program kind of guy, yet they're still scoring? I mean, what does that say maybe about the system they have in place and the kind of players they are bringing in besides?
Well, I think it's part of the system. I think it's also being a year ahead of where we are. I think it's where he is in his time there at Baylor, and that makes a difference. I mean, you look at us year 4, where we were a year ago, and we're still quite a bit better, and we'll see where we are a year from now. But they've got some shelves stocked, and it shows.
Baylor, you've talked about everything they do well, how explosive they are. They also have a tendency to turn the ball over a lot. Are you seeing things there that you can exploit defensively and trying to even the matchup up?
Well, we hope so. I think part of that has to do with a very confident quarterback and a very confident offense, and probably the willingness to take risk and throw some of those balls just because the reward has been so great gives you an opportunity. I think we've got a pretty good secondary that are capable of putting themselves in that position. And that's the great challenge. And our guys are excited about that. They don't feel that they've been turning the ball over enough ourselves, and they want to get back to doing that to helping our offense and our team.
That was my next question, is that what the defense can do to kind of help the offense get the turnovers, try to move ball in tough position, shorter fields? things
Yeah,
like that?
we didn't deal with a short field at all last week against Okie State, and anytime you're struggling a little bit, driving the ball multiple times for long yardage is not going to be easy, and that's what we had to do. We lessened that burden by getting a long punt return or a kickoff return. Hard to do that against Quinn Sharp. So you try to turn it over as a defense and give you a short field or two.
Thank you, Coach.